Hi everyone, this is an under 160 county match played between Greater Manchester and Lancashire last May. This was after we beat Norfolk, and in this round I was joined by my 3Cs teammate Nathan Gittens. Now the thing is that I'm sure all of you who go to the King's Crusher Cafe on Chess Cube know about my rather controversial opening views. Well, me and Nathan are having a competition to see how many openings we can refute. I have claimed to refute the 4F3 Nimzo Indian. He claims to have refuted the Najdorf Sicilian and the King's Indian with some weird Russian name, some Magyanov or something like that attack. And we both have a rather eccentric playing style, and now you are going to see his rather exuberant playing style in action. Well, especially in this game anyway. His opponent was Phillip Raynor. They were quite evenly graded, both around the 150 mark. And the time control was an hour and 40 for 40 moves, then back 20. And this was, I think, board one quite near the top it was in boards. But anyway, onto the chess. D4, Nathan was white. Knight F6, C4, G6. And now Nathan here could have played 3F3 triple exclamation mark with a winning advantage, but instead chooses Knight C3, D5, the Grunfeld defense. And now, like me, he has got sick of having his centre completely hacked by Black's pressure on it, so he plays a sideline with Knight F3, Bishop G7, Bishop G5. Also possible actually is C takes D5, Knight takes D5, E4, takes, pawn takes, C5, with a transposition to one of the main lines, because in the main line exchange Grunfeld, white either puts the bishop on C4 or the knight on E2, or puts the knight on F3 and the rook on B1, and this transposes to the knight F3 setup, and white's centre will be totally hacked to pieces, and black will win. Well, jokes really, but you know what I mean. The mainline Grunfeld is awful for white, I think. It's awful to face. So Bishop G5, not allowing this. Knight E4, and now maybe white could play C takes D5, Knight takes G5, Knight takes G5, C6, offering a gambit. Pawn takes, Knight takes, and now E3, E5, D5, returning the pawn for an advantage. And black's fractured pawn structure and the queen outpost at D6 should give white some advantage. Instead, Bishop F4, C6, E3, castles, Bishop D3, and now F5, and the game transposes a bit like the Stonewall Dutch, but a bad Stonewall for black because of the bishop on G7 isn't very good in that variation. It needs to be on D6. Best is Knight takes C3, B takes C3, D takes C4, Bishop takes C4, and Knight D7. With a equal enough position, maybe slightly better for white, but because of his space advantage. F5, and now we are going to see Nathan's eccentric playing style with the move H4, just a random H pawn attack. Well, I suppose he has got a target on G6, and it's sort of what I do this, just randomly throw the H pawn at people. Queen B3 is more accurate, with pressure on B7 and D5. Now E6, and we have the stone wall. Knight E5. You see, the problem with the stone wall formation is that black's bishop is completely incarcerated, and white gets a knight outpost at E5. Other possible moves are Queen B3, Rook C1, or castles. Now black plays Knight D7, putting pressure on the knight. So takes, bishop takes, and F3, kicking black's knight away. Now black should play Knight takes C3, B takes C3, and Queen A5, with strong pressure on the queen side, with stuff like B takes C4 and B5 coming, and with good counterplay. Instead, Knight F6, and now Queen D2, getting ready for queenside castling. Queen B3 though is preferred. A5, a preemptive strike at white's queenside. And sure enough, he castles right into it. And now we see the plans for both sides, with potential like bishops coming to h6 if e4 can be played, and the h pawn coming, g pawn's coming forward, and black can play thrust the a pawn forward, the b pawn forward, put a queen on b6, and if white's bishop moves, which it will do when it goes to h6, then a rook can go on b8, and then the other rook can go on a8. All makes for an exciting game, doesn't it? Opposite side castling. I mean, we can't beat a bit of opposite side castling. Now he plays a4, a3, blocking it up, but leaving a hole on b3, but that really cannot really be exposed. Rook e8. A little bit slower. Black maybe should play b5 and just get on with his attack. Whoever throws their attack through first will win, even if there's a material cost. Rook dg1. Now the rooks are knighting through the g and h files with potential decisive effect. Knight h5, going after the dark square bishop. Black maybe should get his attack going though with d takes c4, bishop takes c4, and knight d5 with good counterplay. Also, simplification is good for black because of his space disadvantage. Knight h5, bishop g5, bishop f6. A not very good move, and now white starts to take control with g4, which forks the knight, and f5. And although it doesn't win anything, it does open the king up when it takes an f5, so it's fork really. Knight g7. And now strongest is bishop takes f6, queen takes f6, and h5, with very strong pressure on the king side, and white's attack is coming through here, and black's hasn't really even started. Bishop h6, and now b5, a pawn sacrifice which can actually be accepted. It can safely be accepted. It looks risky because it opens up the b line, but say bishop takes b5, bishop takes b5, knight takes b5, and now if black's careless and goes bishop takes h4, then that is hammered by g5, queen b8, knight c3, and now bishop g3, but now comes takes, and f4, shutting the bishop off from the queen, and white wins a piece in the game. Now comes h5, so white just ignores the pawn and gets on with his attack. g5, so trying to close lines, and now g takes f5, and black should have played knight takes f5, bishop takes g5, bishop takes, and now f4 wins a piece back for white, and after h6 only move, takes, and h6. White has got a very strong attack with the two rooks knifing through, the potential for the queen to come to g2 and h2 and the passed h pawn, but at least black isn't behind in material. But in the game, he takes with the e pawn, just dropping the d pawn for no compensation. Now rook c8 check, king b1, and knight e6. Black has to try and get something going. If g4, then f takes g4, f takes g4, and e4, with two very strong central pawns and a pawn advantage. However, this is preferable to knight e6, and now another pawn bites the dust, and now white is 2 pawns up with a crushing attack. Bishop c6, only move, and now Nathan plays knight f4, which looks flashy, but it is an inaccuracy. The forced win, in fact, I'll give you, just pause the video and see if you can find a forced win if you want. I'll give you 5 seconds on here because it's not really that difficult. I presume Nathan was in time pressure as usual, because he has a habit of analysing pointless tactics for half an hour on every move. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knight takes f6 check, queen takes f6, bishop takes e6, rook takes e6, and now g5 has been removed of defenders, so rook takes g5 check, king f7, and now d5, forking rook and bishop, so queen takes h6, and now takes, king takes, rook hg1, with queen g2 to come. White is the exchange and 2 pawns up with a crushing attack, and black's king is going to fall very soon. This is game over and resignable. Knight h4, knight f4, a flashy move though. Bishop d7, queen d3, threatening bishop takes h7 check. and he actually plays king h8, allowing bishop takes h7. But of course then the knight in f4 falls because he has unpinned, so knight h3, putting 3 pieces on g5. Also possible is knight g6 check, h takes g6, h takes g6, threatening discoveries, so king g8 and g7, and now bishop h7 to g6, winning the rook's threat amongst other things, and black's king is getting crushed here. Black's basically having the kitchen sink thrown at him here. Knight h3, simplest, rook e7, adding more lateral pressure to the pawn, defense. Bishop takes e6, removing the guard of g5, and now white is 3 pawns up, and black should resign here, but plays bishop c4, queen f5, and now forgets that his bishop is on pre and plays queen c7. The only move was rook c6, but white's 3 pawns up for nothing. Even if the attack fails, them centre pawns are going to crush the black position. Instead, queen c7, just leaving the piece on pre, and now takes and check, and it is mate next move, so black resigns. So a very strong attacking game played by Nathan here. And we was heavily upgraded in this match, so we needed a few wins. I shall do my game soon. I actually already had done it, but it came to about 16 minutes, so therefore I'm going to have to do it again, which is a bit of a nightmare. I will do it though because it is instructive, and for now I hope you enjoyed this game. Please leave any comments and thoughts. Thanks very much.